But that's it on the announcements. Now I'd just like to turn things over to Dr. Flinn. I'm sure you've seen him seen all his ads on TV. Finally get to meet the man that we see every night during the news. So.
I do exist. Thank you. I'm George Flinn, and I want to be your conservative voice in the U.S. Congress. First of all, I'd like to, it's a small group, so we can be honest with each other. What is anybody concerned with here? What are your main concerns with Congress, or what's going on in the United States? Because you've got a different view of it than other people. So, does anybody have any concerns yet? I guess I talk, you'll come up with a concern, and go ahead, interrupt, and say, by the way, I want to talk about this. But actually, the reason I'm here running is because of people like that. And that young man there is going to get to pay for all of the things that Nancy Pelosi and the liberals are doing. They are dragging us, and I didn't say leading us, I said they're dragging us down the wrong path. And what I propose to do about it. Well, first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about him. I know you've seen the commercial. He worked his way through medical. I know you've seen it. But I used to be an electrical engineer, and then I became a physician and a radiologist, and then decided I loved radio from electronics and all of that. So I built a radio station, and I started out with one station and 2 employees. And I'll tell you about that just a minute. And then I've become a Shelby County Commissioner. I'm a legislator. So I understand the legislative process. Now, what I'd really like to tell you about is the reason. And he's the reason, and young people are the reason. For the first time in history that I know of, we're about to leave this next generation worse off than we are. And that's not the way we were brought up, and that's not the way we were taught. We're supposed to leave the next generation better off. We want to leave them a good world with the American dream. I had the American dream. You have it still. They're trying to take it away from you. And most of you are in the early stages of your career, and you're seeing all of these taxes go up, the government exploding and expanding, and it's really disheartening, and I'm frightened. And I don't frighten easily. So, we'll go back. As a doctor, I understand medical care. I'm a practicing physician. I'm a radiologist. And I can tell you one thing, Obamacare is not the prescription for what we need. It is not the right thing. It puts a bureaucracy in between the patient and the doctor. And that's not good. It raises the cost of medicine. It doesn't lower it because you're adding so many people into the medical care. Obamacare needs to be repealed, number one. Repeal it. That's what I would go for. And then bring in a medical care that has tort reform in it, and it has sensibility in it, and it brings together common sense, tort reform, insurance reform, where people can get insurance. They can get insurance across state lines. They can get insurance without pre-existing conditions. So those are some of the things we need to do there. As a small businessman, I know what it is to create jobs. Now, does anybody agree in here that we need jobs? The unemployment here, they say it's 9%. We know that. It's more like 18%. And that doesn't include the underemployment. People that have had to take a lesser job for lesser pay, and the lesser job and lesser pay, that's another 20%. So we've got almost 40% of people either unemployed or underemployed. And then we've got another 10% of people, and you may know some of them, that have just given up. They just said, just give up. So that's almost 50% of the people. And we've got to do something about it. As a radio station owner, small businessman, I know what it is. I can create jobs.